Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the DSS break. It's great to have you guys back here today. I'm Anna Anderson, the founder of Data Science Salon, and today I'm streaming directly from our headquarters, which is beautifully located in the heart of Miami, just a few blocks from the iconic Design District. And we're here live every week to discuss the world of data science, AI, and machine learning. And we chat with you about unique experiences with the best practice about best practices with leading data professionals and a 15-minute casual break. And I'm so excited today to welcome back actually Laura Gabershek, VP of AI and Data Strategy at Genesis XYZ. And last time we talked, Laura, it's probably like 5 years ago, maybe. Oh my God, it's when I first launched the show. So it's so nice to have you back. Back then you were at Visa and so much has happened, which is super exciting. And I'm really excited to dive in. And Laura brings over 13 years of experience in leading technical teams across machine learning, analytics, and data strategy with deep experience in payment space specifically. And she's known for transforming complex data problems into scalable visual solutions. And she's a passionate advocate for inclusive data communities through her relationship and leadership of Our Ladies in Miami, which is amazing. And in this session, Laura will take us inside the world of actually scaling real world AI and tokenized loyalty programs. And if you guys are not familiar, we'll go through what those actually are. And we'll talk about how enterprises are leveraging AI to personalize customer experiences and the challenges of working with secure privacy first data and what it takes to build a scalable AI solutions that deliver business value. So Laura,
what an intro
for being here.
To see you. It's always a pleasure to talking to you and being at your amazing spaces that you have created. And for all the audience, it's nice to see you here. I'm looking forward to hear about your questions. Greetings from Brickell Key in Miami. For those of you who don't know, Anna we're almost the same time here in Miami, and she's been transforming the tech community in Miami, building spaces for all the amazing talent that is on site. We have universities, we have communities, we also have companies that have been increasing after the pandemic, I think. But Anna has been for sure one of the keystones. So always happy to be here, especially after lunch break, talking about data.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet, Laura. And for those people that don't know much about you or your background, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the 13 years of the experience and how actually you got into the data space.
Absolutely. I might not go all the way the 13 years. I think it's a little bit longer now. But it keeps me young. But pretty much, long story short, what I was studying, there was no data science. It was just computer science, statistics, and then design. So I ended up somehow doing computational linguistics, ended up somehow specializing in text mining, which nowadays with all the transformer tensor models is not that relevant, or it has changed a lot. Fast forward, doing data science masters with economics in Berlin and Germany, and then fast forward somehow moving to the United States, first California, then Miami, where I worked 8 years of, the last 8 years with Visa, transitioning through many data teams, starting as a data scientist in consulting. We worked a lot in Visa. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. You probably own a Visa card. No, we're not a bank. We are in the payments industry, and that has been mostly my career. And in consulting, you work with issuing banks, acquiring banks, authorizations, any type of many interesting challenges. So that's great. At the beginning of my career, I was there for years. Then I went on to lead a team, so in a more managerial but also technical role, developing a team and leading a team of data consulting, but now internally. So with internal Visa stakeholders, that was very exciting. And having support of a data engineering team. So that's one of the things we're going to be talking about, all the different areas within the data space, right? That was great. And then I ended up somehow in a data engineering team leading the MLOps, machine learning operations for North America. So it's basically once you have models that are in production. So you have in development, there's a lot of talk in development, the techniques and so on. But once they're deployed, they're in production, they have to be in maintenance. And that's part of the conversation of the ethical AI and ensuring that those models are still accurate comes into play. And then since March, I took a leap from several years in Visa, but also in the payments industry, and joined Genius XYZ. We're based in Miami, but also in Dubai, and we have different team members. I think we're fintech, around 200 people. Latin America, Dubai now, and Miami. Lots of familiar faces from Visa, and I'm leading and growing here the AI and data teams.
That's awesome. And that's an amazing journey. Thank you so much for sharing. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about the challenge of applying AI in this tokenized loyalty program space, and maybe tell us a little bit about what is the space exactly, maybe a use case that people can understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I haven't heard about Genius before. I was familiar. I had worked with Co-Brand. Co-Brand are the programs or the cards. Many, and we're all clients, by the way. We're all users of loyalty, of credit cards. So it's always easier to explain people. A co-brand is pretty much a bank gets together with a merchant, with a business like REI, and then they come up with a card together, and they want to incentivize you coming back to the business. That's pretty much also loyalty. A Genius, I haven't heard of them until the CEO, Ruben Salazar. He's a rock star in the payments industry, joined also the company, and then I pretty much joined them. We do tokenized loyalty, which is pretty much like a co-brand, but also we are synthesizing combining all the loyalty points that you have. Now, I own many programs, and I got some numbers out there, but it's pretty much everyone has or is enrolled automatically or willingly into, let's say, 20 programs, and then actively you're using 5. I had very good experience with loyalty. I'm sure I have a bunch of dollars, and there's out there the Points Guy, and there are other programs where you can really maximize your loyalty points. And that's actually, I think it's a 14 billion market. I was looking.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, increasing to 2030 about 20 billion. So it's definitely increasing. A lot of banks, a lot of merchants are using it to increase customer engagement, and a lot of people are not using it. So it's basically a good perk to have for the bank. Now for us, it's millions and millions of dollars that every year just go away, and we're not using them, including myself, right? I have with Chase, I have a Chase is one of the better cards. There's probably some few dollars sitting out there that you can combine. So now Genius comes in, and we can combine the different loyalty points that you own, and now we can tokenize it. So we can also trade it by crypto. You might have one program, you might have $2, but then with the other one you have 5, and then so on, right? You can combine them, and now you have a much bigger wallet. And then from my perspective as a data practitioner, why did I took the leap? So there's different reasons that I wanted to touch base that might be interesting for the audience. For one, it was interesting to work in a fintech environment in a smaller scale. In the last months, I've learned a lot, and it does change your perspective, and you grow a lot, right? And it's a whole different setting. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just a professional and career growth to not only lead the team, but you're really working, you're really building everything from scratch. So that was interesting. It was interesting following a leader, right? Ruben and Sergio, the founder. And the loyalty space, just like co-brand, and it's a very innovative space right now. There's a lot of things happening. You saw JetBlue brought a new card out. We're getting news every day out, which is one of the things I also wanted to go in. Being in such a agile space in the payments industry, it's definitely a little bit of a challenge when you want to develop some sort of data production solution, because you have to be so agile. You have to be keeping up, not only from the technical perspective, especially from the business perspective. There's a lot of business rules. They're changing by time we're growing, we're being very agile. So that all reflects into the data at the end, right? Like how we're using our models, how we're building the team, because again, we're a fintech and a different level of maturity as settled, more mature data teams at a multinational corporation, with its perks, because there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of technical possibilities and innovation that we can do. We can also go a little bit more in detail into that. But also, of course, there's now a new lens into the limitations you have by resources, be it just a team or also the cost. Like we're deploying everything on the cloud with AWS. It's a whole different perspective and lens than when we were in Visa. We're very structured, very more classic business cases, right? You sure have
that makes sense.
Innovation, but yes. So that has been, there were so many reasons just to take that leap. And again, just to grow professionally and try new things, try new tools, be more flexible, grow the team into the direction you want to see it, right? And experiment a little bit more. So having more strategic lever. And it's really interesting how we're growing, because it's not only in the US, in Miami, or in Latin America where we are, but now we're expanding into other regions. So now things that a CTO will be taking care of, like where am I placing my cloud? Are we going with AWS? AWS does not support every region. So now you have to learn
new things,
different aspects that before that you were very focused, but more niche, concentrated way.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And maybe we could talk a little bit about ethical AI practices, because you were talking a lot about data, and there's a lot of like sensitive consumer behavior and financial data. How do you guys approach that?
Absolutely. I mean, even in the payments industry, across the lines, right? There's we keep a closer eye, right? Because it's consumer data, it's PII. So Genius XYZ, we work very closely also with Visa. And whenever you work with those corporations, there's certain certifications you have to go through. There's a SOC 2, cybersecurity. And again, as a data practitioner, those are things that before that a legal team, an invisible legal team, legal team will take care of. But now, and we would do the trainings, of course, but now we have to take care of that. So we do take care when we do our data architecture. So we have a cluster for development, UAT, and then production. We're compliant. We really keep an eye on being compliant with all the data governance, everything that requires to get those certifications. Because again, as a fintech, we're always trying to look for new clients and new collaborations and so on. And of course, in the data industry, you really have to make sure that you have those credentials behind you, which then reflects into all the practices that we're doing. So aside of the data architecture, we work with business rules or data rules on how to aggregate data, how not only data governance, but stakeholder governance, who's getting what type of reports. And then this might be interesting for the audience, right? Whenever you're in a smaller, or in a fintech, a startup, maybe you just finished college and you're starting you're joining a startup and you're supposed to grow your data team, right? Always start by the base. And the base is the data quality, data architecture, and also your stakeholders. You have to be sure who is in the company, who should be having access to what, and how you're going to manage the access. Who are your power users that will have access to everything? Who are other power users that should not have access to everything? For example, a sales team or marketing team, or teams that are not that technical. Why? Because again, being in a corporation,
we don't want to mess it up and clean it all out.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But beyond the credentials, so with you're compliant, you're doing everything. But now it's about how we're going to ingest and use those data solutions, those reports, those models, whatever it is. The because it's a smaller team, you have technical people with less technical people interacting on it. So you really want to make sure how you are providing that information and explaining it. So we have here, for example, teams where we test our solutions. They're not technical, but that's also good. So when we have several segmentation models, right? So we were testing it out with them, like how does it sound? We have a very close collaboration with the business team, the sales team, and the marketing team. So they're coming with a whole different perspective. Everyone says data, but it means so many things, right? If you're talking with the technical team, and in the payments industry and transactional data can be tricky. We all know that. There's how you aggregate data gives you as much as transactions or fraud or whatever. There's a lot that on documentation as well. So things that I did in the first month, of course, was like, okay, where's the data? Where's the architecture? Where are the guardrails? Those are in place. Okay, let's start building up. All right. So we have different tables. You have a staging area. There's different levels of aggregation that different people will be consuming. We have even reports that are provided to different circles within the company. We have a wiki, everything is documented, data governance, get your data dictionary in place, because otherwise you become the bottleneck and the data team does not want to become the bottleneck because otherwise you become an analyst. That is not the idea. So if anyone is joining, again, a smaller scale, you might be the only data team. Just empower your users by that, right? Document everything. It's a great investment. Make sure that the reports are inside. Everyone knows where to find them, how to interpret them. I will do check-ins once in a while so that I can also build the cool stuff and just do on the segmentation models, go into MLOps, go back to the agent development that we have. So it's been a challenge on how to build at different stages, the very base, the middle, and then the higher fancy stuff they're always talking about, right? Like the innovation and so on. But I think it's worth mentioning that there might be the expectation, maybe it was just me, right? But if you do go to a smaller scale, or sometimes you have companies with different maturity levels, that means that you will have to be working with different hats on and on different levels of problems, right?
Yeah. No, it sounds
an analyst, being an analyst and just checking the quality of data, building practices, talking to people, selling your team, like trying to pitch them to use more of the reports and really ensuring that you're a key cornerstone, right? But yeah, it works. Many teams have done it. Myself, I'm always focused on, which, AWS, like which model can we use? But we sometimes forget all the groundwork that needs to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, it sounds like you wear so many different hats, Laura. It's a lot. Yeah, no, but it sounds like you're organized, you know what's going on, and that you have it together. Amazing. And
you too.
Well, what do you think is next?
Before we went on ethical AI, one thing that we're working on, very proud of, is with agents. So we have a excellence center and a user center. So we're using agents, not to replace them, but to give them the content so that everyone is receiving the same information. Nice. I hope we, with all this multi-agentic and so on and AI, yes, of course, there's a worry about automation. What we're doing is implementing it internally, not only taking the guardrails on our training data and how to select data and build the model, but how you implement it. So what we're doing is we're empowering our internal sales team, but also the operations team, so that everyone is getting the same answers. I think that's also part of, in terms of implementation of, systems that we develop and so on.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It sounds like everything is flowing really well. And my last question for you would be, what do you think is next in this industry? Especially with AI. I mean, it sounds like agents are making your processes more efficient, but what about the actual industry? And what do you think is the most hot thing we're going to see in payments?
Absolutely. I think there's several, that's a whole 1 hour. We're going to be, we're going to continue that conversation.
the top thing, one thing that you think
Yes,
is going to be next.
agent. I mean, ethical AI, meaning the quality of the different bots that we're using. I think we see it everywhere. You know, from ChatGPT to Grok to was it Myth Murati. I'm a big fan, and she's developing like the thinking machine startup. So I think there's a lot around the quality of the bots itself, and there's because there's a great adoption. People are actually getting more used to using these bots, and I think it's a good development on taking a step back and looking, okay, how ethical are they? Because there are consequences, and that's a whole different conversation. But that's on one. And then agents. How can we, you know, automate, have an agentic ecosystem, multi-agentic ecosystem? That's actually something that we're working on. So let's say you have now, from all the cards you have, you can now check every day how many points you have. So now you have different Annas that are working for you in your sleep. Right. And they're gathering the points, are putting them together. There might be already, you know, booking your flight for your next vacation, hopefully. And there'll be a lot of optimization and automation that it's very exciting. Not scary. It's just exciting. It's about boosting the economy. It's about, you know, new business cases. So that's something very interesting to be part of, especially in that transition.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we have a lot of amazing things to be part of, and it's nice to be part of this like renaissance kind of, right? The AI renaissance that we're living. Well, Laura, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing such powerful insights into intersection of AI, data privacy, and customer loyalty. From the strategic frameworks you use to the commitment to ethical data practices, it's clear that real-world AI success is much about responsibility and leadership as it is about innovation. We're excited to see where your work at Genesis X YZ takes the industry next. And you have to catch Laura's session, Scaling Real-World AI and Tokenized Loyalty, at the 8th Annual DSS Miami next week, or not next week, the week after. 2 weeks. Yes. I'm like, oh my God, no. Yeah, in 2 weeks. And it's going to be at the lab in Miami. It's going to be amazing. We're almost sold out. If you want to join, please grab your ticket. We're going to share a link. And thank you so much for being
Last year was amazing. So I can't wait to be there. It's an amazing venue, great speakers. And I've seen a lot of interesting questions. And again, the loyalty, because everyone is related to it. So I'm more than excited to be there and enter discussions and, you know, maybe new team members, maybe new clients, who knows? Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much. I'll see you there. Take care.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Take care.